And welcome back to Open, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee. This morning on Open, our theme is giving back. Along those lines, Dr. Anne Elliot has been helping empower women to reclaim their lives following incarceration. She has served as executive director of Greenhope Services for Women for the past 17 years. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, this is a lot now. This is the second time I'm seeing you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Well, that's not that bad. I can see you every day. Why don't you come for lunch tomorrow?
I'd love to.
There you go.
Thank you so
You
much.
do so many wonderful things, and you're here with a buddy of yours, a representative, right?
Yes.
What is her name?
Her name is Valerie Geis. We have hired her for 3 months to talk about our new opening of Kendake House.
And she's open and she's out there.
Yes.
She's bringing you out.
Is.
Yes.
She's doing a great job.
So tell us, what is your organization all about? I mean, I visit a lot of the jails and everything, and I know you have a program to receive them when they come out or get them before they go in.
Both.
Both.
So Greenhope Services for Women, Inc., we're located in East Harlem. We have been around for about 35 years, and we work with women who are coming out of prison, so parolees on their way out, and also women who've been referred to us by treatment courts as an alternative to incarceration. So it is a woman-centered, woman-only program, and our new program allows us to allow a woman to bring her children with her into treatment.
And they have that at Rose M. Singer's on Rikers Island. They have the maternity ward.
Yes, we go out to Rose M.
children.
Singer, and we interview women. Our legal team goes out there, interviews the women, finds out they're appropriate. Most every woman there is, because most women in prison have a substance abuse problem. Over 80% of them are nonviolent and have substance abuse or a property crime that they're looking at. So we advocate in court to divert them from their sentence to prison upstate to our program where they stay for a year or a year and a half.
Okay, and then what happens after that? Do you help find them a job or?
We do.
Help them with the family?
When I say it's a woman-centered treatment program, it's very few of them.
You work with the family?
Yes, work with the families. There are particular emphases that you would have with a woman-centered treatment program that you wouldn't have in others that you concentrate on. We work with their families because they're very concerned. Of course, now they'll be able to bring their children with them into treatment. We deal with domestic violence, education and prevention, parenting skills, particularly for women who are dealing with recovery and recovery issues. And also I always talk about integrity in my service providers because the space has to be safe for a woman to talk about the traumas, particularly sexual trauma and physical trauma that has happened to them in their lifetime. And then of course the trauma of incarceration itself.
And they have the right person for the job. I mean, you have a master's in theology and things like that.
Master's and PhD in theology, yes, and some psychoanalytic background as well. So we do, what was that? I'm not psychoanalyzing.
Oh, okay, I got you. I was ready to take a turn. Hopefully we'll sit next to Cool Clyde.
So we do emphasize, I'm glad you brought that up because most treatment programs are dealing with what you would think. We certainly have a classroom on the rooftop. We have it's a green building, by the way, with organic garden on the roof. Oh, we have a culinary arts program. We're very successful, about 75% successful rate, less than 10% recidivism rate, and also about a 65% job placement rate. And the reason why we're not, after a woman recovers, what then? So we do a lot with the healing arts. We have
recidivism rate, they talk about that throughout the prison system, but that's pretty high.
40 to 50% is generally what you expect for people, just a revolving door, people going back into prison, unless you have an intervention such as Greenhope Services for Women. So ours is less than 10% for the last decade. And we're proud to be a part of the ATI network in New York State.
ATI?
I'm sorry, Alternative to Incarceration and Reentry Programs in New York State, which has really been an integral part of the criminal justice system because the other states, if you look at them, the other comparable larger states, Texas, California, and Florida, have over 100,000 people in prison. New York State has about 56,000 people in prison, and it's no coincidence that we have the best ATI network of, Alternative to Incarceration and Reentry network. In the country.
You can use the initials now.
Okay, now you got it. But we applaud Governor Cuomo for closing about 3,700 prison beds. There are about 8,000 empty. There can be more closed, and the money reinvested in alternative to incarceration and treatment programs.
Great.
We also advocate for woman-centered treatment. I mean, the Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse Services has about 6% of all programming directed towards women.
Yeah.
And about 2% of those are just women and children. So we need more money, operating and capital, because we like to build more condaques all over the city.
And out of that, what about education for the youngsters?
Yes.
Who are, you know, children of incarcerated people.
Most definitely. We have a family services department, which makes it unique. We're dealing with, so the children get those services as well. I want to emphasize that you don't have to have a criminal justice record to come to Greenhope as well. We're a licensed Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse program, and so our outpatient program doesn't even have a cap.
So before it even gets to that point, you can come in and get help.
We have
That's
prevention.
Wonderful.
So anyone, if you know anyone that has a substance problem, you know, that's a woman who's struggling, the same services we give to our residential clients, we give to our outpatient clients as well. So coming in for prevention and outpatient services, if you have a Medicaid card or if you don't, you know, you can come into our treatment program and get services.
Battered women?
We have an incredible domestic violence program. So we work with women to teach about prevention, and also we help them through the legal process all the way through to giving them all the services they need.
Wow, let's get all the money and put it into your organization.
Can you please?
That's what we need.
There are only about 2,400 women in prison actually right now.
Where do we send this money to?
We'd like to bring them all. You send them to Greenhope Services for Women, 435 East 119th Street. And greenhope.org is our website. Please go to greenhope.org to send money to Greenhope.
Kandake House?
Kandake House.
Kandake,
which is an ancient Nubian term for queen, is what we named our new facility. And it is the one that will allow us to bring in children with their mothers into treatment. Gotcha. It also has an organic rooftop. It is green. It is beautiful. We wanted it to be so women could really begin to believe that this is the kind of living they should have.
And has this house opened up already? Or are you having a grand opening?
We're having a grand opening, thank you, on May 19th. The ribbon cutting is at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then we will have tours of the building from about 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then Nona Hendrix, the legendary Nona Hendrix, has agreed to give us a benefit concert in the evening.
You have that song?
Begins at 7,
you knew I was going to turn to you, right?
Yes, Transformation. She'll be singing that one. And the name of the concert is Women Who Fly, which is her other song, which is tremendous. She's a tremendous person. She came to us and she said, I'm here to help you in any way I can. So we're delighted to have her. The Impact Repertory Theater as well, you know, the August Rush group will open for Nona. So we're looking forward to that. So
you've got some wonderful people helping out.
We do, but we need more. We really do. We're always struggling for our funding, which is one of the things. I mean, we do need more individual donors, private donors, but we'd also like to advocate that the governor baseline our funding, because we're such an integral part of the criminal justice system, of reducing crime.
Yes. Most of your funding comes from the government?
Most of our funding comes from the government.
Can you get private donations?
Yes, most definitely.
Corporate donations?
Yes, most definitely. Thank you very much. Yes, we need corporate donations. We need private donations. We need those because it gives us general operating dollars to use whenever, particularly in the last 2 to 3 years, we've been hit with a recession. We've had some across-the-board cuts that have severely impacted us. And we'd like to have more and more women come and know about the program and come into the program, utilize our services. But we also advocate for the government to baseline our services.
Sure. I'm sure with all the success that the program has had, somebody should take a look at that and say, hey, you know, this is what we need to do. You know, we need programs like this to keep people from becoming incarcerated and receive the people coming from jail who have been incarcerated.
Yes,
we need your program.
Yes, we do. And it's just so critically important. I mean, it's so much more successful than prison.
Yes.
Incarceration just doesn't get it done. Particularly for women, really need a very, very safe environment in order to deal with the traumas that they've dealt with and get their lives back on track, get back to their children, get back to their families, get back to their communities. You know, we don't want them hundreds of miles away. We want them here in the community. And that's why we call it community corrections. They need to be home. And they need to know that they deserve their children.
Well,
and
what do you tell the people who say, well, no, you know, how can we be sure that they're okay and they got the help that they needed before they come into the community?
Well, I also like to talk about people who are economically at a more advantage than this population of women. They don't have a felony on top of their disease to deal with. They have a disease. I have a substance abuse problem. They're able to get the help that they need elsewhere. Their jobs might provide that for them, or they have the financial backing themselves to go somewhere. But they don't have the additional barrier of the trauma of incarceration and the trauma of trying to find a job now or to get back into society and deal with the shame of being incarcerated.
So people with money do not have to go to jail?
No. It's the vast majority of people in incarceration are African American, Latina, and they're poor. They don't have the option of treatment programs, and so we're giving them the same kind of option that others have, and we want to build more of these because this really is the answer. Keep them home and treat their problem, and not criminalize them because they have a disease, and it's the way in which we begin to look at it.
How can more people get involved in Greenhope?
Go to greenhope.org, and we have a section called Get Involved, and it teaches you how to get involved. You can volunteer, you can donate, which we love. You can get people to corporations to become involved and get to know what we do. So there are a lot of ways to become involved with Greenhope. We have, you can become a board member as well, but also we have an advisory group as well. So ways in which we offer you opportunities to help us.
What do you tell families or women who have had it? They've given up. The economic situation is not right. Their husband or their significant other is not treating them right, and the household is not doing well, and they just want to give up. What do you tell that person?
And they're addicted to substances, this woman.
Going in that direction?
Well, I tell her that there is hope, and there is hope at Kandake House. And I'm glad you brought that up because if she has a home already, the outpatient program is the answer for her. She can come into the residence if she wants to and bring the child, but if you have a home already, we do home visits. We surround the family. So because it's a woman-centered treatment program, we're all about the family. Our family services department does referral and services for her husband, groups for her husband, groups for prevention on domestic violence for them, also for the family members, for the children who a lot of times have a lot of anger and repression and depression that they need to get out. They're isolated. They don't have other children they can talk to about the fact that, there's a drug problem in the home. This gives them all the peers that they need to talk about this problem.
When I was asking that question, I was thinking about the young lady who drove off into the Hudson River with the children. Had she come to you, you probably would have been able to help her in that situation. Help
her, stabilize her. We do. We have psychiatric services. We have alternative health with massage, acupuncture, and Tai Chi, all that stuff, but we have conventional medication as well, and deep mental health services. There's a lot to talk about. The services are very comprehensive. But yes, I think about her, and of course, we were torn apart when we saw that news report, and we wished we could have had our hands around her and around her children to give her the stability. There's so much chaos and hopelessness. So to give her the stability that she needed and the support that she needed to get her life together.
Last message, what would you want to tell our public as far as what your organization is about? They heard that, but what message would you like to leave with people?
That the resilience of the human spirit is amazing, and that we should never give up on people, and that incarceration for someone who's, has nonviolent, has a drug problem, is just not the answer to our social ills. There are a whole lot of attendant problems that they have. Let's get our minds together and be creative and imaginative about the ways in which we can help. Just the compassion, to be compassionate people. I mean, we are, of the Western world, we incarcerate way more people than other people do. We don't need to have that kind of response. The response we need is to believe in our people and to lift them up and to believe in the resilience of the human spirit.
Doctor, thank you so much. Dr. Anne Elliot, Executive Director, Greenhope Services for Women. You got to come back and tell us more because we need a whole program to really lay it all out.
Wonderful. I'd love to come back, and thank you
Yes.
for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right. Remember, the ribbon cutting for the Kandaki House is Thursday, May 19th, beginning at 10 a.m.